So after completing step 2 and getting the mouse, the user using the mouse to be able to control where the boat travels, we need to stop our boat from being able to cross over these brown barriers here. Because right now, if we currently run the program, there's no consequence if the boat just goes right over the barrier. But we want to write a program that something will happen if the boat does crash into a barrier. So that's the code that we're going to add for this third step. So the first thing we're going to need 2 costumes for our boat. One normal costume like we already have right here, and one for when the boat crashes into one of the brown barriers here. So what we can do to this boat costume is we can control, click, and duplicate our boat. So now we have normal, and then we have normal 2. What you want to do is up at the top of this costume area, we just want to rename this costume so we know exactly what normal 2 is. And this is going to be the crash costume. We'll just say crash costume. So once you're clicked onto this crash costume, we need to change this costume to make it look like the boat has crashed. So we clicked on our crash costume and we're going to grab the select tool. Using the select tool, we're going to grab bits of the boat and move and rotate them around and make it look as if our boat has crashed. So if you go like this, I can move just that chunk of the boat, maybe rotate it a little bit, and you are going to do this until you're satisfied with how crashed your boat looks. You can make it as crashed as you like it. I'm just going to keep that for now. Maybe I'll rotate this one around a little bit, but you're just going to be using the select tool to make the boat look like it is shattered or it's crashed after it hits the barrier. So the next thing we need to do is go back to our script, and we need to add code to our boat inside the forever loop so that it crashes when it touches any brown barrier here. So what we can do, we're going to pull over another if-then block. And then we're going to go to sensing. We haven't talked about color sensing yet, but we're going to use it in this program. So we're going to pull over this if touching color block and drop it right into that if-then statement. So right now the color in our if touching color block is green, but we want it to detect if it's touching a brown color. So in order to change the color that's in the box, you click on the box, the different hand comes up, and you go over into your stage and select the color that you want the program to sense. So I'm going to select this brown color, and now we have the brown color showing up in our if-then color sensing block. So if it's touching any brown color, then we want to switch our costume, we've used this block before, to crash, because whenever it hits the brown, it needs to crash. Maybe we'll add something like, to say, SOS, or help, because the boat crashed. And instead of doing 2 seconds, we'll just make it 1 second. We don't want it to be there for too long. And then we are going to make the block switch back, the boat switch back to, instead of crash, we're going to select the drop-down menu, select normal, and then we're going to make sure that our boat is still going to be pointed in the up direction because we want it to be facing our mouse at all times. And we're going to just drag this go to XY block here and just change your values to negative 215 and 160, negative 160. So this whole if-then loop is going to go inside our forever loop after other if-then loops. So we have two if-then loops looking for different things inside of our forever loop. So let's see if this works. If you notice, there's something wrong with this program. We don't want our boat to start off in this crash costume. We want our boat to start off in its normal costume. So what we can do is go back to looks, switch costume to, we can just add switch costume to normal in our reset code. So every time I press the green flag, it'll start off as normal. And then if I hit the brown, crashes, SOS help, and goes back to our starting place. Oh. So you can play around with this for a little bit. Make sure it works. So our boat starts off like it's looking normal. When it crashes, we say SOS help, and it goes to our crashed costume. So what we also want to do is add code so that if our boat does make it to the deserted island, that our player will win, or there'll be some sort of you win speech bubble that pops up. So in order to do that, we can pull over another if-then loop and do the same kind of thing that we did for if it touches the brown barriers. So we're going to go to sensing, pull over touch and color, change the color by clicking on our stage. We don't want brown, we want yellow. And then if it gets to the color yellow, we'll have a speech bubble that pops up that maybe says, yay, you win. And this whole if-then statement is just going to go at the end of our forever loop. So now we have 3 if-then loops within a forever loop.